afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar by Atulith Academy. Thank you all for taking the time to join us. Let me just brief you all up about Atulith. Atulith Academy was founded by Radhika Kotha, a corporate trainer and learning designer who works extensively with professionals and organizations on communication, ownership, and workplace effectiveness. The Academy was created with a clear intent to help professionals communicate with clarity, take ownership, and perform effectively in real workplace situations. Today's session is titled Making Your Voice Count, and it has been designed to be practical, relevant, and immediately applicable for corporate professionals. Before we begin, a few quick housekeeping points. Please keep your microphones on mute. Use the chat actively for reflections and responses. Stay with us till the end for a useful takeaway resource. I now invite our facilitators for today's session. Megha Pawar is an experienced educator, soft skills trainer, and career coach with over 2 decades of experience. She has conducted several corporate webinars and training sessions empowering professionals with confident communication, clarity, and career direction. Megha brings practical insights and empathy to help learners grow both professionally and personally. And, ex- and we also have Divya ma'am with us. She is an experienced corporate trainer and communication coach with a strong passion for developing professionals and enhancing workplace communicative effectiveness. She brings with her a unique ability to translate complex technical concepts into practical, people centric learning experiences. In parallel, a structural engineer with 18 plus years of consultancy experience in the oil and gas sector, which enables delivery of highly relevant, industry aligned training programs that resonate strongly with engineering and technical audiences. Now, I would like Divya ma'am to take over.
Thank you, Insia, for the wonderful introduction. Can we have the next slide, please? Good afternoon, everyone. Please keep the chat box buzzing and keep pouring those likes and hearts. Let's make the session an interactive one. So, before we start, let's take a pause and reflect. What was that one sentence that came to your mind and stayed in your head and was never voiced in a meeting? I still remember that meeting of mine. I was on my first solo trip to Muscat. I was already very nervous as I had left my 5-year-old back home and the anxiety was high. I was teamed with the senior team leader, on paper, my mentor. But each time I reached out for work or guidance, nothing came to my way, and he was mostly unavailable. A week later, during the progress meeting, the same manager openly blamed me for missing the deadlines. I was stunned, literally speechless. Before I could even say something, the project manager gave me a good feedback and the meeting ended. I went back to my desk, still trying to understand what actually had happened and why didn't I speak up? Why didn't I clarify? The moment had passed. I had quietly accepted the blame, even though deep down I knew I had actually not faulted. Has this ever happened to you? You wanted to speak, share your perspective, clarify your side, but the fear crept in. Fear of seniority, of overstepping, or sounding unsure. And before you knew it, You stayed on mute, lip zipped. And honestly, it's not only a professional thing. We experience this in our personal lives too. So now, I want you to type one sentence in the chat box, starting with I wanted to say. So let me share a quick context so that it's very clear. I wanted to tell the project manager that I genuinely tried to connect with the senior team member. Or I wanted to tell my boss, this idea sounds too risky. Or maybe I wanted to tell the colleague that this idea is mine. So please go to the chat box and type your responses.
Let your thoughts pour in. Thank you, Sheila.
So Sheila says, I wanted to tell my TL, I wish to add something. Right. So the idea stopped there. So I would request others also. Frida, Munira, Chinmay. Or you can even unmute yourself and tell.
For me, it was maybe when I actually, way back when I actually wanted to tell them that it was not possible in that particular time that they were asking me to finish it, but I could never say it.
Yes, that's always the case, I guess. We are never able to tell them that this schedule is tight. Okay, I wanted to share. Munira says, I wanted to share my idea, but could not get a chance. So Gargi is
Yes.
saying, every other meeting before I start, or even tell, it goes unnoticed. Okay, thank you for your lovely responses. I see that many of you have experienced these situations in meetings, brainstorming sessions, reviews. Asking your voice to come does not mean speaking more. It means speaking at the right moment with clarity and intent. In meetings, silence is often mistaken for agreement. A counted voice is not one which adds voice, it's one which adds direction. Today, we are talking not about sounding louder or more confident. We are talking about a structured contribution or even a 30-second input changes the meeting outcome. In the next 60 minutes, we'll learn how to make our voice count in a constructive manner. Next slide, please. So it's rarely because people don't have something to say. It's usually the system which makes it very hard for us to speak up. As I speak these statements, just notice which one feels familiar. Most meetings move very fast, but thinking does not always catch up. We confuse speed with clarity. But the fastest voice is not always the best thinker, just the quickest one to speak. Now, let's imagine this. A senior voice enters the meeting and something very predictable happens. Others don't challenge, they just disengage. Not because they agree, but because the hierarchy signals direction is set. When authority speaks first, things just shut down. People fear of being that one person who slows down things, or who sounds negative, or who sounds different from the crowd. Leadership is not about speaking louder, it's about creating space before certainty sets in. So today, you just won't have ideas. You will know how to keep your voice in the room. Here's what you will walk away by the end of this session. Why voices get lost at work. the hesitant voice that stops you from expressing. A simple form work which is easy to remember, safe in hierarchy, and usable in fast meetings. Applying the form work in real corporate world. And at last, you get to practice real corporate situations. Now, Megha will take it forward as she helps us why good ideas fail to be heard. Over to you, Megha.
Thank you, Divya. And once again, good afternoon to everyone. Can we have the next slide, please? Before we move into what you could see on the slide, I just want to share a moment from my professional journey that changed how I look at speaking up at work. I was a part of a brainstorming meeting where everyone was throwing ideas rapidly. I had one strong thought, simple, practical, and aligned with the goal. But as I listened to others, I started rethinking myself. Maybe this is too obvious. Maybe they have already thought of this. And so I softened my voice before even I spoke. And when I finally shared it, I said something like this: This may not be very useful, but just a thought of mine. The room moved on almost immediately. A week later, the same idea came up again. This time, I stated clearly, confidently, and connected to outcomes. That's when it hit me. It wasn't the idea that lacked value, it was how I presented it. Now, before I go further, I want to hear from you. I would like you to unmute yourself for a while and answer just one simple question. What usually stops you from speaking up at work? Please unmute yourself and share what is that stops you from speaking up at work. Yes, Frida.
Well, what stops me from from speaking up at work in the past was fear of being judged. At the same time, the fact that most of the times it's always that even if people ask for feedback, they don't really appreciate it. So it's, so you finally land up in that situation that why do I even have to say?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Munira.
No, I would feel that, most of the time I get stuck. I have this idea, but I think the point which I can resonate over here is the speaking too late. By the time I keep waiting for my chance to come, I think it's too late. The meeting is, wrapping up and no one is there to listen, right? And over
Yes.
I think I sound maybe very soft or not, that authoritative or the confidence in my voice. Maybe that is why, even if I start, I think people just, lose the interest or they don't think that, oh, anything is going to come important from her because of
Yes.
phone. So I think
Yes.
it matters.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Munira. Yes, Sheila.
Like Freda said, being judged, and then when that thought creeps into your head, even if you know what you want to speak, you just go blank. And when you actually want to speak, you may not even, like, I would not speak, or I would just forget what I wanted to say. And that's the reason I would just keep quiet.
Yes, it happens. It happens with most of us. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to? Oh,
Same like friend shared that at times we are many times it has happened that we have shared some agenda or something that we are facing, and when we see that time and again it is being unnoticed, or it is not taken into consideration, or at times even it happens that you are giving some suggestions and that some other people takes it as a they take it. yes, this was my idea to the another senior level. And you at times don't get, where I should be saying no, and when and where, what is the level and what is the limit I should speak to my certain level of seniors, so that what happens, certain ideas are there, it was being heard. That moment I did not realize that it was being heard, but later I get to know, yes, it was heard, but it was not my words. That time it converted to my the senior word who is reporting to the other super senior, है ना? So they are
Yes,
understanding that this was her idea, but actually in the meeting that was my idea. So
yes,
that
yes,
was one of the thing that we face, so it is very important for us to know how much to speak, and when is the time to speak. That is very important. And to whom we should, we are speaking, many judgments are there while speaking. We have a notion that we are a very good speaker, we can hold the meeting, we know. But now what I feel that I should know how much, what is the exact amount I should be sharing. That
yes,
something I would like to learn.
yes.
Thank
You are very correct, very correct. Thank you for sharing that, Gage. Hemraj, would you like to share? Okay, let's move ahead. And as we could notice how different your roles are and experiences are also, yet the challenges sound very similar. And that brings us to an important question: why good ideas do not get heard? Now I would like to ask one thing. Have you ever asked someone for direction and still ended up lost? Nowadays, though we have these Google Maps, GPS, but we all belong to that old school. And we still have a habit of asking the passerbys, can anyone please help us to know where this building or this address is? And then the way they explain us, sometimes we get lost. Yes, we do not get to understand what they were trying to explain. And the reason is this happens because of the lack of clarity. And the same thing happens at work also, especially when we share ideas. Now imagine in a team meeting, a member shares an idea without clarity. He says, there are few things we might want to consider before finalizing. But here, what's the thing is, the point is scattered, the message is vague, and the purpose is unclear. Though the idea is useful, no one fully understands it. So there are no questions, no discussions, and the meeting simply moves on. When your message is vague, your ideas becomes invisible. And that's why our ideas needs to be clear. Now again, before moving ahead, I want you to go back for a moment to your childhood. Now think of a time when you wanted permission from your parents. I think all of you can recollect that time very well when we all were young, and for even small things we wanted to take permission from our parents, and how the situation used to be. When we wanted that permission from our parents, we knew what we were asking for was right. We knew it made sense. Still, the way we asked was careful. Similar happens in our official meetings. Many of us walk into meetings as confident professionals, but speak like that careful child. This is what we call over softening. Let's see what it looks like in a real meeting. In a meeting, an official says, I might be wrong here. This is just a small thought, but maybe we could consider reviewing this once more. If that's okay. It's not a big issue though. And after this, what happens next? No one asks a follow up. The room moves on to the next agenda point. The idea had value, but the delivery made it easy to ignore. Over softening doesn't come from weakness, it comes from caution. And that too much caution makes idea easy to ignore. That's when ideas quietly disappear. Now, I want to have a quick reality check from you all. Uh, Now, I will share some sentences with you. These are real sentences from real meetings. Right now, we have seen some examples of unclear meeting and over softening. Now, your task is to identify the problem. I will read out these statements. They are from some meetings or brainstorms, okay, brainstorming. And your job is simple to tell me, is this over softening or is this unclear messaging statement? You have to write O if it's an softening statement, and if you have to type U in the chat box if it's an unclear messaging statement. So my first statement is, this might not be very important, but just sharing a small thought. Please, I will repeat. This might not be very important, but just sharing a small thought. Just type O or U. Okay, Munira says O. That means over softening, over softening. O. All of you are very correct. So, okay, Gargi says U. O. Yes. Yes. This is the statement of over softening. You are very correct. Let's have one next example. The statement is like this. There are many aspects to consider here, and depending on different situations, this could go in several directions. I repeat, there are many aspects to consider here, and depending on different situations, this could go in several directions. Very good, very good. All of you have got it very correct. Thank you for sharing. That means you have understood what is the difference between unclear messaging and over softening. Now, I want you to notice something. In over softening, the idea becomes small, and in unclear messaging, the idea becomes invisible. In both cases, the idea doesn't get rejected, it simply doesn't get a response. Now, let's look at another silent idea killer, that is speaking too late. Most of the time in meeting, we often have the idea, but we share it after the moment has passed. And why does this happen? Because we don't want to interrupt anyone. We wait to see how things go. We assume someone else will say it, as some of you before this only shared with us similar reasons. It resonates with you all, as I could say. And by the time we speak, the decision is finalized the plan has been approved, and the meeting has already moved on. So even a good idea sounds like an afterthought. Let me take a simple corporate example. A meeting is going on, and you realize during the meeting that a timeline is unrealistic, a client requirement is unclear, and a risk hasn't been considered. But you stay silent. And after the project faces trouble, you say something like this: actually, I had thought about this earlier. And when you say this, then you get unspoken reactions. And what is that? Then why didn't you say it before only? In meetings, timing gives ideas their power, or a late idea often sounds like a complaint, even if it's stated as a solution. So the challenge is not just what we say, but when we say it. Okay. Now, once again, I want you to recollect a time when you were young and sitting with your elders in the family, with your parents, relatives, or someone you were taught to respect and not question. And they were discussing something important about you only. And you had a thought in your mind, and you knew you were right. But thinking that they are your elders, you stayed quiet. Not because you lacked an idea, but because of was in front of you. Now replace your elders with the senior at your workplace. And think of a meeting where your senior is explaining a strategy or a solution that doesn't fully make sense. You notice a gap, a risk, a missing perspective. You want to share your view, but you think, what if this sounds silly to them? What if they shut me down? What if I'm remembered for saying the wrong thing? So instead of sharing the idea, you mentally step back. Thoughts remains in our head, not because it wasn't valuable, but because fear filtered it out. So it's not that ideas are weak, it's because all these reasons which we discussed right now, that good ideas do not get heard. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes. Now let us be honest to ourselves. At work, it's not enough that you speak. It's not even enough that you had a good idea. Your voice matters only when it influences a decision. So instead of me explaining this, let's experience it for a moment. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, you have two statements in front of you on the slide. Your only job is to tell me which statement would make you take action or decide something. Is it A or is it statement B? Please pour in your response in the chat box. I will repeat my question. Which statement would make you take action or decide something? I'm waiting for your response. Sheila says A, B, A, A, K, A, Munira says B. Gargi, can I ask you why you chose A?
Because when someone is starting with the statement word, I strongly feel that as soon as you listen to this or hear this, when you are in a practical word, that time you know your word that will hear that word towards that statement more. Because in mind you have got that I strongly feel we should reconsider this approach. Now, and he's also confident, or whoever is saying that his confidence word is there. So these things are the I think will make one person. And this is more confidence statement.
Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Munira, I would like to know from you why you chose B.
Now, I just felt that giving the solution, the clarity part, so that might attract, and our words are heard. If you straight away tell them that this is what it is, you're giving them the solution.
Sorry, we
So
are
that's what should sound more appropriate, and so I'm choosing like clarity there. Confidence is there, that's fine. But I think this clarity is over here. Exactly, you are telling them what is going to happen if we do this. So I think this statement, the B statement, might resonate with most of them because they're sitting to, do a brainstorm and trying to come up with solution. So I felt that the statement B is more appropriate.
Yes, yes. Gargi, you are also right. But statement B is the perfect one because statement B wasn't louder, it wasn't dramatic, but it told us what changes and why it matters. Yes, yes, Frida, where the outcome is clear. Yes, you are very correct. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, again, we have these two set of two statements here, and the same question I would like to ask: which statement would make you take action or decide something? Is it statement A or statement B? Yes, Radhika.
Yeah, so just going back to statement B previously in the previous slide, I would just like to what you call assert with Munira, because when it comes to the management point of view, they want only solutions. They don't want to hear generalized statements. They prefer the solution directly because only that goes into their head.
Yes, yes, that is very perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, whatever you said is very correct as per the corporate situation.
Yeah. So I would like to add here a little more that what I've understood, after attending these meets and all that they are not there to, see where this idea is coming from. They are not in that state of mind to check where the idea is coming from. They're just looking at the idea. So, saying that, hello, sir, how are you? I strongly believe, saying that I statement, that doesn't matter to them. They just want to listen to the idea. So that is why I resonated with the B.
Yes, yes, that is
Yeah,
very important.
away. We have to keep, ourselves away and just pour in the idea at
Yes,
the.
so okay, you are talking about this statement A. Yes, you are very correct, very correct. Thank you for sharing that. Now I would like to ask Frida, why you chose B? Frida, can we hear from you?
Yes, the thing is, why I chose B was I initially wanted to type B, but by mistake I typed A. So the thing is, when you have clear outcomes, it is easier to decide on doing something, like the way I do things, urgent and important. So when you know that this idea would save me 20 minutes, then I mean, I feel this is more more of a viable idea. I mean, more of a viable way of doing things. So I'd rather do it that way.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And who's next? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes. So now, here I would like to add that exactly your voice matters only when it influences a decision, as you all said. And that's why clarity beats confidence. Okay. Now, let us wake up the room. Now, no speaking, just hands. Now, in your childhood, when you didn't know how to write, you must have, but you had that feeling in your mind that I want to write something, so you must have scribbled a lot on the papers. Now, I want you to scribble on with me in air. So just get your hands like this. I want you all to switch on your cameras for a while. I request you all to switch on your cameras, get your hands like this. Imagine there are two pencils in your hand and you have to start scribbling in air like this. Start scribbling, 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 scribbling. Start doing it. Yes, yes, yes. Now, this is how ideas usually live in our head everywhere and thank you. We can stop over here. Now, this was our round one. Now, let us have the round two, where I want you to take your fingers like this and just draw one straight line. Draw one straight line like this. Draw a straight line. And that's how the clarity looks like. Now just roll your shoulders once. Take one deep breath and relax your hands. You did lot of exercise, yes? You require a lot of efforts for doing that. So what I want to say is, most of us speak like what we did in the round one while scribbling. Too many directions, too much at once. But meetings reward the way we did in round two, like this. One clear line which people can follow. Now, the real question is, how do we consistently speak like that second version? There's practical structure behind it. And Divya will take you through that next. Over to you, Divya.
Thank you, Megha. Can we have the next slide, please? So, unmapped ideas is what we mostly come across in most of the meetings. Many ideas, many times enter the room sounding something like this. I was just thinking maybe we should try this, or maybe I'm not sure if this makes sense, but let's try. Or maybe this might be a silly question, but what does this indicate actually? I wanted to say something earlier, but anyways, leave it now. So these are unmapped versions of ideas, isn't it? This is how we generally speak. Now, let's try to understand why are these unmapped. You speak without context or a clear ask. The idea just slips below. It signals uncertainty even before anyone has actually challenged you. It quietly gives the room permission to move on, like someone from the audience had just told. So, good ideas don't fail in meetings. It's how you position them matters. Even the most innovative thought can get overlooked if it's not shared without a context, clarity, or a purpose. Now, let me share a real example with you all. I'm sure you must have heard about Airbnb. So, in the initial years, it struggled. It was originally called as Air Bed and Breakfast. Launched in 2008, the idea did not catch immediately with everyone. People were skeptical about letting strangers into your home, and the founders had trouble attracting hosts and guests. So the turning point came when the founders repositioned the idea. Instead of just offering a place to sleep, they emphasized experiencing a city like local experience and earning that extra income safely. This was how a clever marketing along with professional listing of photos helped build them trust. So the idea did not fail because it was bad. It failed initially because the positioning did not resonate. Once they reframed the same concept, we all know it's a global phenomenon now. So in meetings, ideas don't often get lost because they are weak, but because they are unmapped. The MAKE framework will help us map our ideas so that they land with clarity and impact. Let's try to understand the concept behind each letter in the MAKE framework one by one. So M stands for map. Mapping your thoughts properly in meetings ensures you communicate without rambling and making a stronger impact. The process involves preparation, structuring your thoughts, active listening techniques, along with visual aids. A unmapped statement sounds like this: meetings waste time. But a map statement sounds like this: let's reduce the number of weekly status meeting, isn't it? Now, let's see what A stands for. A stands for anchoring to context. So, anchoring your thoughts properly in meetings ensure you are articulating clearly, confidently, concisely, and preventing them from getting muddled or lost. Just imagine the ship which is anchored to the shore. You need to anchor your thoughts in a structured manner in a similar fashion. Now, let's see how anchored statements sound like. We need to decide on this because the client expects a response by tomorrow. Delaying this decision will increase the cost for the next quarter. With the new competitor in the market, we need a fresh approach to retain customers. If we don't address this bottleneck now, project delivery will slip by 2 weeks. K. Keep it crisp. State your point briefly and structure it so that the room can follow you. Long explanations invite interruptions, confusion, and drift. Concise points hold attention, protect your idea, and keeps the meeting going. So, I would like to share an example. So, Ravi was one of my colleagues, a very thoughtful, well-intentioned person. When he would speak, he would give a full context, background, history, assumptions, everything. I hope we have many such Ravis in our life. In one of the review meeting, Ravi started answering a simple question with respect to sales last quarter. So this is how he talked. So if we look at how this started last quarter, and before that, there was a similar issue in 2022, which reminds me of another project. So how haphazard was it? In 3 minutes, people stopped taking notes. Someone started checking their phone, and the decision quietly moved on. So nothing that Ravi spoke was wrong. It was just too long for the moment. So before you speak, check what the room already knows. Don't repeat the background that the room already knows. Explanation before the point. First, put forward your point and then the explanation follows. Like Ravi did, multiple ideas in one breath. And the last, apologies. Don't be apologetic. Start with your statements and then apology can be given if required. So, the main aim of keeping it crisp is one idea, one reason, and one outcome. Now, the last E in make form work is engaging the room. I think it's the most difficult portion of all the meetings. So, when the room is not engaged, decisions feel forced, not owned. Risks stay unspoken. Meeting ends with a silent disagreement. Follow-up drops after the meeting. Bottom line is, quiet rooms create weak decisions. Prompts which we can use to engage the audiences. So, how does this resonate with you? Do you agree or see it differently? Or who from the meeting wants to add anything to this context? Or maybe you can ask someone, which option do you feel right? This immediately gives a ownership to the participant and they start engaging with you. So this is how a make form work look like. Next slide, please. So now that we have understood the make form work, I and Megha will do a small demonstration of a real life situation. So we have two different persons in the same situation. So the first situation, the trainer one, who is played by me, is hesitant, while the second trainer, played by Megha, makes use of make form work. Listen closely as we reflect together at the end. So trainer one, I was just thinking we should revisit this.
I want to flag one risk on the timeline.
Yes. So, would anyone from the audience like to interpret how was make used in this demonstration? Yes, Munira.
I feel that Megha ma'am, when she said, I want to flag one risk on the timeline. So everyone is now quiet to listen to what is that one risk she wants to flag it. So I think she got the, attention of the people and now she can speak it out.
Right. So she made effective use of the make form work as she mapped her whatever her intention was, plus she anchored it to the timeline. So that is
Yes.
how she was perfectly making use of the make statement.
Yes, so the right word is anchored here, right? According
Yes,
to the framework.
correct. So anyone else from the audience?
Is it possible to just go back to the make framework one?
Yes, sure. Insia, can we have the make form work? Yes.
So basically, what she's done is the flagging of the risk, right? She mapped the point basically to say that it is risky with the. She anchored it to the context there, and then of course the entire sentence is so crisp, short, and clear. So that itself gets people thinking. So that is engaging the room.
Correct. Thank you all. So now let's try to have a small reflection from my end also. So the trainer one was a bit hesitant and he sounded vague and it was very optional. And the moment he puts the idea, it was dismissed. And he gave a signal of a low confidence even before the idea landed. So the room hears this is not urgent. Whereas the trainer too, he owned the risk. I want to, right? And he was specific. So that is one risk involved. Plus the business language, that is timeline. He invites attention, does not seek anyone's permission. So the real shift is not confidence, It is intentional framing. Trainer 2 did not speak louder. He spoke clearer, sharper, and with purpose. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes. So now we'll work through real workplace situations. For each situations, we have mentioned the scenario and the specific goal that we need to achieve. I would invite volunteers to come forward and let us know how will they handle the situation with grace based on the goals mentioned. Imagine these are real moments from your own office meetings, wherein you have to display professional etiquettes, still making your voice count. So let's begin with situation one. So volunteers, I request you to raise hand to participate.
Yes, Frida.
So the thing is, when it comes to in this scenario, if it was me, I'd probably say just hold that thought for a minute, and I'd say like just hold that thought for a minute. Maybe, this is what I was trying to say, and I complete my. So that person can say it.
Okay. Anyone else? Gargi, would you like to try? Yes, Munira.
Or maybe I would pause because I'm already interrupted. Finish, let the other person who has interrupted finish, and then I try to get back, saying that, all right, may I continue? With maybe the voice which I start with, that has to be a little more authoritative and confident, and then I would start explaining my point.
So can you tell what would be your statement?
Thank you so much for this. I love to hear you, and I was actually talking about
Okay.
like
Okay, that's great.
maybe I'm not sure.
No, that's
How it
perfect.
started, I am not sure. Like, I want your inputs.
Yeah. So can I get one more? Yes, Sheila.
When I'm interrupted, I would let the person speak and then say, I really appreciate your inputs. Let me share whatever I was talking about, and we'll let the audience take a call on it. But I mean, this way, I'm being polite to the person who interrupted and also putting across my point. So everybody is willing to listen to it, and then the decision is taken.
Okay, perfect. Um,
Like I'll say,
yes.
I am about to, finish. Just give me a few minutes, and then I'll get back to you. Simple and just.
Okay. So maybe we can say, can I take a moment to finish my concern? Would appreciate if you would let me finish my point. So the key learning here is interruptions do take place and it will always happen. But you should not let interruption take away your authority. Unclear responses do. Stop in calmly and do it with intent. Focus on the impact, not the interruptions. When you explain why it matters, the room will definitely listen. Clear thinking, simple risk, and a defined next step makes your voice count. So, regaining the floor because of an interruption is not about volume, it's about clarity and timing. And I appreciate that each one of you did it apt. Next slide, please. Okay, so the situation two is your ideas gets ignored. The scenario is you're sharing an idea, there is no response. Later, someone says the same thing. So the goal here is claim ownership calmly. and reinforce your contribution. So, who is going to be a volunteer?
I think Munira can resonate very well over here.
Yes, I think she had already mentioned the same.
Yes, like I would say, I really appreciate, you put this point across, and I resonate with this point you said, and I started off, with this, and I would continue with that point.
Correct. And basically, you can give some more idea since it was your original idea. You can go ahead and explain it in detail.
Correct, correct. I would not stop there, but go ahead and explain that idea again. I
Yes.
mean, what I had in my mind, I would have
Correct.
just
Yes.
elaborated even more.
Correct. Perfect. Anyone else?
See, this is your learning from this session. These are the practical learnings. So once you will try, then only you will be able to apply at your workplace.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I have
This
a
is the
question.
difficulty even I face, same thing I told also. The same. I get through this many times.
Yeah, correct. So, Gargi, if you are in the situation and if you have to make use of the make form work, how will you, imply it in your real situations? If you can give it a try.
Sure, as I shared the idea previously, now coming back to that point as shared by her, so that I can take back the ownership.
Okay.
No, this is how I can take back. It was my idea, and then it was again your person, and then I can take it like this. That as I shared previously, as acknowledged by Miss Sharma, so I would like to add more, ideas onto it. This is how I can take back the topic again.
Right. As I told Munira also, since it's your original idea, you will have things to speak in detail and you will have volumes to speak. So you can just branch it out and take it forward. Right. Radhika?
Yes. For me, it would be maybe like if somebody would interrupt while I was talking and resonate the same idea, I would just calmly say that, fantastic. Say it was, pardon me, Megha, I'm using your name. So if it would have been Megha, I would have said, "Oh, Megha, thank you so much for pointing out what I just said a minute back." And that's it.
Right.
Yes.
That
Point is,
was a perfect one, Radhika ma'am. Thank you.
Also, something like, let's just elaborate on this together, so that we
yes,
are including the other person also, and letting the others also know that it was, my original idea. Thank you.
great. That's, I think, a lovely perspective to regaining the floor. So, right. So, I would say, like maybe on the lines of Radhika said, so I'm glad that you've aligned to my idea. Can I explain my perspective before I take it forward? So, here I will take it, branch it out in a very professional manner, and at the same time, will take ownership of this situation. So this scenario offered us few insights, right? So sharing idea confidently, anchoring them clearly, and follow up if needed. So stay composed, avoid confrontational language, focus on the idea and not the person. Even if your idea is being getting ignored, it need not be personal. Let's keep it in a professional tone. So thank you for the participation and the inputs. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, I think this is a situation where most of us, as when we started our career or at all times of a career, maybe a senior dismisses your concern. So the scenario is you raise a concern and the senior responds, let's not overthink it. So your goal is acknowledge the authority, still make your point, and anchor it to a business impact. So, who is going to take the center stage and let us know how to handle this situation? Yes, Frida.
I would probably say, absolutely, sir. I get your point. Although, since you asked earlier, this is what I feel, and whatever my statement, and then I say, and how it's going to affect the business. I mean, how my statement will positively impact the business. That's it.
Correct. Perfect. So you're flagging the concern and you're attaching it to your timeline. So you will. Great. Okay. Perfect. So, anyone else? Sheila, would you like to try? Okay.
I'm thinking, what would I say? Um, yeah, definitely, because in a situation like this, making your point becomes important. And when you get agitated, like now, I got blank. So, um, standing firm and putting your point and being heard becomes important. So, I would say something like, I appreciate your concern, and I see that you consider it as overthinking. But I still want to make my point, and this is what it is, and this is how it will affect our business, and this is how we can improve the outcome. Is what I would say.
Right. So flagging is utter important. You have to flag that there is a risk involved. If it's heard or not heard, especially in terms of senior, is a secondary. But you need to voice your opinion.
And tell them that let's try, and
Exactly.
you will see the outcome.
Correct. So you did not cross the boundary and get agitated or not show respect. So maybe something of this sort. Understood. I will keep monitoring the accounts closely and highlight any risk or opportunities before the next quarter. So something related to sales is the example that I've given. Yes, Munira.
Okay, so yeah, I would, first tell him that yes, sir, I understand, where you're coming from, but I genuinely feel that this will help. So I would, follow these steps
Yes.
and take ownership of doing it and then showing him the results.
Correct. So you are owning up the responsibility, even if he is not agreeing, he may be seeing it from a different viewpoint or a perspective, which also may be correct, but you are voicing your opinion in front of him. So that's very important, right? So thank you everyone. So speaking is not only proving that you are right, like I said. Raising the flag is not. Yes, Radhika.
Uh, yes. So thank you so much. So with the same scenario, I would like to say that absolutely, sir, you're absolutely right that I am overthinking because what do you call it has a direct effect to the from the business point of view. No, I wouldn't say business point of view. I would say that exact thing that is happening over there
Correct. Yes.
because see whenever you are uh, I personally feel this that whenever we are talking to the bosses only two things go into their frame of mind. One, when it affects the client.
Yes.
Two, when it affects the money.
Money.
Only two things. So the sentence I would frame would be related to these two and put my point forward.
Correct.
So when I was in the education sector, I would always use parents,
Yes.
which was very convenient at that point because yes, the management will listen to you when they feel that parents think like
Parents.
so. In the
Right.
same way, when I came to corporate, it is what the client feels.
Yes.
Thank you.
Lovely. So I think Radhika shared a very different and positive approach. So thank you everyone for actively participating. So As it is said, when risks go unspoken, the business or the project absorbs the cost. So we have to ensure that we do not let it go because of not voicing our opinion. Show me a thumbs up if you all agree to this. Lovely. Great. So, thank you all for the wonderful and interactive participation. I'm sure you all will incorporate these in your future communications and meetings. Now, I hand it over back to my wonderful co host Megha, who will take us to the last part of the webinar. Over to you, Megha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Divya. And now, after having such wonderful scenarios and your participation, I want you all to pause for a moment. That wasn't about acting perfectly, that was about noticing what actually works when the pressure is real. So, let's unpack what we have just experienced. Now, what I want from you is think about the scenarios, just what you have just went through, and think about the moments where the speakers, you only, because you were the speakers, regain control of the conversation. And tell me, to regain that control, what did they do differently? Please, once again, I want your participation. Unmute yourself and please let me know.
Insia, can we have the next slide, please?
Yes. Please let me know.
Can you just repeat the question again?
Yeah, my question is that the scenarios which we have done right now, where you were only the speakers, so to regain the control of the conversation in those scenarios, what did you all do? What did you all do differently? Yes, Sheila.
One is we acknowledge to the other person what was being told, and we were confident enough to put across what we were asked to stop, just to give a clarity to the rest of the members in the room.
Yes.
So this way we acknowledged and respected, and we were being professional, and we also put across our point of view.
Yes. Yes. Very correct. Thank you, Sheila. Yes, Munira.
Yes, my takeaway here is definitely, to not soften myself, have that authority and speak with conviction. That is very important. So I will always make sure. And, a comeback. Like if your idea is not heard or if, it is carried on, then I know how to come back. I think that was a one wonderful one tip, which I'm going to, practice.
Okay. So, Frida, for you, what did exactly worked?
Well, according to me, I feel being empathetic at the same time of a person's view, but at the same time being assertive is very important because you need to put your point across. And I mean, at the end of it, even if somebody tries to shun it off, you need to be empathetic that they did shun you off, but you still need to be assertive enough to say that this is my point and this is how it's going to impact. But when you assert something, you assert it with an impactful outcome to your why you making that point. So that way the person in front would probably have one thought, maybe would think that maybe I should give it a thought what she says.
Yes, you are very correct and you are to the point. What exactly works here is clarity and not the confidence. All of you stated the clear point, anchored to the discussion, and spoke very calmly, not defensively, and even stayed professional, though you were interrupted or dismissed. So you didn't fight for the space, you claimed it. Okay. Now moving ahead, be honest and tell me what you felt awkward or comfortable while doing these scenarios. If you are unable to get it, let me just give you some hint. Did you felt rude to interrupt back, or did you feel rude, risky, sorry, to speak to a senior, or something like this? Yes, Frida.
Initially, when we started, yes, that was my that was generally the first thing that came to my head always. But as the entire session progressed and the whole scenarios were given, it kind of gave me a better perspective of how I can use the same opinion. I mean, use my opinion, but without offending somebody else, but yet being, it's sometimes you need to assert, because people are not going to simply listen to you without a little bit of assertion there. So yeah, I mean, that is how I it helped.
Okay. Anyone else would like to give the input?
I just would like to add on, like, not to what Freda ma'am said, like, not making other person offended, and the other side is also not you feeling offended. Sometimes you take it personally, right? So you don't have to take that personally. That's simple, and I think you will come back with that confidence.
Yes. Actually, what happens is that discomfort which we feel, no, that is very real. Because most of us are taught that at home, in school, and even socially also, that don't push, don't insist, don't challenge our authority. But here's the insight for you all. Professional clarity can feel uncomfortable, especially if you are used to staying polite at the cost of being clear. So, of course, we have to be clear. Now, we will move ahead, and now I want you all to think practically from everything you saw in the given scenarios and discussions. What is one line or behavior you could actually use at work? It can be something like a sentence to regain the floor, or a way to claim ownership, or anything. Yes? Anything which you would like to use at your work?
I think practically using the fact that, sometimes you need to, of course, value people's opinion rather than getting nervous about whether it's authority or whether it's a colleague. Either way, you do value it, but at the same time, you do need to assert. Sometimes it is required, because otherwise, your opinion would never matter to anyone. So you need to appreciate, or rather value it, but at the same time, you need to make your point very clear, and with you know base it with something more concrete.
Okay, okay. Yes, Radhika?
So I would just like to add a little bit to what Frida said just now. Um Something like, you know, we always need to think that the opposite person is right from his or her point of view, like we are from our point of view. We have to make up our mind that way. And then it is like we do in school debates and college debates, wherein we just say, absolutely, what you said was absolutely right, but my point of view is, and then continue with whatever my idea is. So, this way, the opposite person also does not get humiliated or they don't feel bad.
Yes, yes. Very correct, Radhika. And thank you both of you for sharing that. And Sheila says, for me, it's the make framework. Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. So I would like to say that the goal is not to speak more, the goal is to speak when it matters in a way that influences the decision. That's how ideas stop getting ignored. Now, before we close, let's bring this back to your workplace. This is not about someday, it's about where you will speak next. Can we have the next slide, please? I want you to unmute yourself once again. I think we are troubling you a lot. So, and share one meeting or a moment where you will speak or a sentence which you will use in these meetings. Just to help you out, it could be any meeting, team meeting, project review meeting, anything. Or a movement, if you're thinking, a movement can be like where ideas are being discussed, when a decision is about to made, and a sentence as some of you right now shared with us. So anything from that. So just waiting for your inputs. So what is going to be that moment or meeting after the session where you're going to speak up next? Because whatever learning you are going to take from this session, where you are going to use that.
So I would like to tell my this thing. For me, it was like Radhika said, absolutely you are correct, but I would like to share my view. So recognizing that person is okay, and then putting forth your viewpoint. That is what is my takeaway.
Okay. Yes, Sheila?
To take it forward from what Radhika said, this word absolutely is so, um, it's evidently used. So we will begin the statement with absolutely. I agree with you, but I would like to add my inputs too. So I would add this sentence, and I'll definitely speak in the meetings going forward. Thank you for the
Yes.
wonderful session.
Yes, Munira. Okay, Frida says this will definitely help me in the future for any meetings. Or okay. Yes, Munira, Gargi.
Yes, I was trying to type in, but I would say that I would say that I love this idea which you have put up, and these were also my thoughts which I wanted to add on. This scenario where we discussed, that your point is lost and no one hears it, and the same point comes up again. So this is how I would start off.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Gargi.
I have meeting just after the webinar. I am waiting because I have already got a notification. So I have a meeting with my principal. So I have everyday meetings actually.
Okay. So it's going to be very helpful for you. So you are going to implement very immediately after this.
Very immediately.
So we'll have immediate feedback from Gargi.
Okay. Okay. It's very good that we got all those responses from you all. Okay. Now, whatever you have shared is your next speaking moment, and you don't need to change your personality. You need, you don't need to speak more. You just need to have one clear moment where your voice influences the direction. Now, as we have come to the end, and before moving towards key takeaways, I would like to request you all to fill in the feedback forms. Its link is shared in the chat, and we will be happy to know your feedbacks. Now, before we close, Can we have the next slide, please? Before we close, let's quickly capture the key takeaways. Most of the key takeaways you have shared with us. But once again, I would like to know from you what are your key takeaways from the today's session. Some of the key takeaways are shared in front of you on the slide. So you can choose either from there, or you can let us know what is your key takeaway from today's session. We will be happy to know from you.
The fourth point, clarity beats confidence every time. So I would definitely take this and work on it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Prida, what is your key takeaway?
Well, I think it was Munira who just spoke. She took words out of my mouth. Clarity any day beats confidence, and that is something which is something that appealed to me, and I'm gonna definitely be using that for sure. Thank you.
Yes, Gargi.
So your voice matters only when it influences clarity with confidence every time. I mean, many things I'm taking. Meetings reward those who speak with context and volume. And most importantly, you don't need permission to add clarity. So I'm taking most of it.
Okay, good, and best of luck for that from my side.
Thank you.
Yes, anyone else would like to? Sheila, would you like
Yeah.
to?
Yes. The second one, hesitation at work is often a habit learned in daily life. And fourth one, definitely. And the last one, you don't need permission to add clarity.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your key takeaways with us. We have covered a lot today and also discussed the key takeaways with you all. Now, if you have any question or clarification, please feel free to ask. We will be happy to take your questions. If you have any queries, please let us know.
I just had one. The make framework, is it possible that it could be shared so that we could use it practically maybe?
We are going to share with you the toolkit
Oh,
for
wonderful.
this. So it will be shared in the group, WhatsApp group. That will be very helpful for you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So I think we have two people who are going to immediately apply. One is Gargi and one is Freda.
Absolutely.
We are very happy to see that it is going to be very helpful for these people. Yes. Okay, so I would like to say only one final line, that is, your voice doesn't need to be louder. It needs to arrive at the right moment with the right clarity. And with that, I would like to say that, okay, yeah, most of you are with your camera switched on. So let us have one picture with you all. Let's capture a moment together. Can we have this? I hope all of you we have achieved something from this webinar. Can we have this and capture a moment together? Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to Insia.
Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to thank both our facilitators for today's insightful and practical session. And thank you to all our wonderful participants for your time and engagement. As shared, you will receive the takeaway resource from today's session, which will help you apply these learnings in your day to day meetings. To stay connected with us, our Atulith Academy social media links are being shared in the chat. Please follow us to stay updated on more practical, relevant, and engaging webinars for corporate professionals. I'd also like to mention that we have our next webinar coming up on 7th of February, where we'll be exploring another important workplace skill. Details and registration information will be shared shortly. Once again, thank you all for being with us today. We look forward to welcoming you to our upcoming sessions. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was a wonderful session, very engaging. I did not feel 1.5 hours is gone.
Thank you for being an interactive participant. We love the energy.
Yeah. Thank you. It was
Yes.
wonderful. I wanted to experience that, and it was really worth it. And looking forward for others, I will join in.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Gargi.